Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to ITV, and this is the iRadio special program, a program that focuses on youth empowerment, art and culture, and lifestyle. And on today's special program, we focus on the story and the journey of a young lady who was inspired by the vulnerable situation of South Sudan with high levels of food insecurity. According to studies, South Sudan is highly food insecure with over 7 million people food insecure. And on today's, as this year, or rather this week, we had agricultural forum that focused on agriculture in South Sudan. And the theme was, we produce what we eat. And for that to happen, we need to have investors, or rather entrepreneurs within South Sudan, that look into the future of how to tackle the issue of food insecurity. And this young lady here, as a journalist by profession, thought, why can't I not do farming or agriculture in my own country? Today we introduce to you Adul Majur, the founder of Mirabel Foundation, a farm that is located in Lake State in Ural East County of Lake State. So please welcome on board Adul. So Adul, welcome on board.
Thank you so much.
So maybe if there's something I left out, you could actually tell us more about yourself as Adul.
Yeah, actually, as you mentioned, my name is Adol Majur. I'm actually a journalist by profession, and aside that, I've now decided to be a farmer. And I'm actually farming in Lake State, especially in the Ural West County. So that's where Mirabella Foundation farm is located currently.
Okay, like you mentioned earlier on that you are a journalist by profession. So why decide to take a different path of farming? And this is now you're moving from the world of journalism to the world of agriculture. Why the decision actually?
Actually, as a journalist or as a learned and also raised and born in South Sudan, we are in a crazy situation, especially hunger in South Sudan, insecurity in South Sudan. I just thought to myself that the little we gain is not enough for food, medication, and also tuition fees like our brothers and sisters that we support in our families. So I just had to actually go back home to the village and start farming. For me to have food on the table, rather than buying everything with the money that is not even enough to sustain. I have been farming since 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, till today.
So how has it been like for the last 3 years? I think we are talking about 3 years, almost 4 years. We're in 2021. So for the last 4 years, how is farming?
Okay, to someone who is actually experienced, it is fun.
Okay.
Though there are challenges actually.
So did you take in like some classes in farming or in agriculture, or how did you come about to decide you want to go to agriculture?
Actually, it is natural. I never went to any farming, school or studied agriculture. We just do it manually.
Okay. Do you have anybody in your family that once did farming that maybe you got to learn from seeing or, around you?
For real, that's a nice question, and that's where my mother stepped in. My mother was a farmer and also kept cattle back in the days, and she inspired me, and at this age I just feel like, okay, why can't I take over her most desired, dream, which is farming. So my mom inspired me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your mom is your inspiration.
Yeah, and she always advised me in this journey because it has a lot of challenges. Yeah, so whenever I'm in a difficult time, difficult situation, I would talk to mom and she would tell me, like advise me, counsel me to calm down and be consistent with my decision. So mom is my backbone in this.
All right. I mean, shout out to all the mothers that support their children. That's beautiful. And now let's talk about capital when it comes to farming. Is farming capital intensive, and what does one require actually to start up a farm?
Okay, wow, that is a tough question.
Okay, let's look at it from your angle where you started farming, like capital-wise. How was it for you?
I won't actually, okay, it was the little from my own saving, that is the salary. And the little I had, to be honest, I actually presented to my mother, like I mentioned earlier. I told her, Mom, I want to start cultivation. And she was like, you know, farming involves a lot of things. Like, you don't have seeds. You need to have this amount for seed, this amount for people that would cultivate for you, because I cannot finish the entire acres. I mean, so she was like, okay, how much do you have? So I shown her my budget, and then she helped me, you know, divide it, break it. And then I went to the village, so, and start farming. Yeah, so though I actually pay people in wages, not salary, those ones who help me to cultivate my garden. Yeah. So having that capital has to be a lot. It has to be a lot, depending on the size of the land that you are farming. So if it is extra, you need to have enough money. If it is a small one of my size, it has to be little.
Okay, talking about the size of the land, how many acres do you have in the land?
Ooh, it is now 100 acres.
100 acres, so that terms it to be a light scale farming?
Yeah, because
so that is somebody who's not small anymore.
Yeah, okay. I think it is small for my size.
Okay.
And I have a future plan for it, because now it's going to be my farm field for Mirabella Foundation. Okay. So that's why I actually increased it. But before it was smaller than that.
All right.
So yeah. So now I wanted to cultivate continue cultivating in a large quantity. That's why I extend the acres to be 100.
All right.
Yeah.
So what type of irrigation do you do in your farm?
Oh my goodness. I really don't have any irrigation system.
Okay.
The most challenging thing now, which is we actually depend on weather. We have to wait.
Oh, so you depend on weather in South Sudan?
So when rain stops, we have to wait.
Wow, okay. So that means it's not consistent.
It is not consistent, but I don't like it. I want it to be consistent. I want it to farm regularly, like during dry season and rainy season.
Right.
So for me to have an irrigation system, I need to have a budget. Right. Enough money, enough funds for me to go and buy those equipments. And they start putting the channels down. Right. In my farm, dig for me borehole maybe, get for me solar panels and batteries, and they connect it in my farm, so that every time my food is there in the garden I'm cultivating. All right. So, and that is my initiative, and I wanted that to be successful.
All right. Talking about your food to grow, what type of crops do you have in the farm?
I cultivate a lot of things.
Okay, tell us about them.
I have nuts. My farm, maize, dura, which are divided into 3 types, and they have their own times for, you know, for them to get ready. Yeah. So, and those dura we have cage.
Cage? What's that?
Cage is a dura. It's actually our local dura. I don't know how they call it in English.
Maybe I need to understand what is dura in the first.
Okay, dura, the small millets.
Ah, okay.
Like sorghum.
Like sorghum?
Yes.
Ah, okay. So they look like sorghum brownish?
No, not brownish. They are actually yellowish. The cage is yellowish, and they are tiny. And they only get ready in December to January, once in a year. Okay. We have a wool. A wool? It's so tiny, very tiny. They also get ready the same time with the cage. And what actually get ready faster in 3 months' time, that will be harvested actually in August, is rabjang.
Rabjang, what? Those are
okay. That is now that is local names. So you need to. Okay, I have to put it this way for others to understand. Yeah, we are in South Sudan, right? Yeah. So we need and we need to maybe get the modern names for it. Yeah. I don't know the modern names for it, to be honest. Okay. So our dura is Arabic. Yeah. So I have rabjang in my farm. I have rondok or nyandok. Nyandok.
Okay.
So these 3 plus maize would be ready in August or September.
Right.
So if you actually have time to come to Mirabella farm,
Yeah.
I mean farm.
I mean, off record, you mentioned also cassava.
Cassava. Oh my God, that was.
It was like your
yeah. That was my amazing part of cultivation actually.
Yeah.
Because in the village, to be honest, oh my goodness, I almost forgot that. In the village, they don't consider cassava as food.
Oh, okay.
Has to be honest.
Really nice.
They don't
consider it as what?
Yeah, they just see it like a tree,
okay.
and they just plant a little of it. You know, it just looked like a decoration.
Okay.
Then when I went to the village, I called the farmers and I was like, look, why do you cultivate this as small? And they were like, who depends on cassava? Then I say, in West Africa, it is the main food, especially in Nigeria. And here, even in Uganda, it's the main food, especially Beale. And they were like, okay, let's see, how is it food? So I had to demonstrate to them. I told them when it is wet, like it's still fresh, you eat cassava.
Yeah.
When it is dry, you actually cut it down into pieces and you dry it.
Right.
You know, and later you make flour out of it. You still eat it. And cassava is delicious. Cassava is nutritious also.
Right.
So I had to explain. And they were like, okay, so now you can go ahead and cultivate and maybe we'll see that from you.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I will be an example. Apart from all these crops that I have cultivated, cassava is my main.
It's your favorite.
Is my favorite.
Okay.
I went there purposely to cultivate it.
When were you lastly there?
I went there since May, but I had been there throughout the year, since the year started, 2021. So I went there to clear my farm, extend it, and then I came back to Juba. Then I went back again for cultivation when rain started in May. So I have been there. So I just came back last week.
Okay.
Yeah, after planting my cassava.
So when are you hoping to harvest it?
We will have to harvest in a year. In August, it will be ready, and then again September. December, we'll harvest it again, and it won't finish in the ground.
Right.
It will continue to produce till next year, and even next year it will be a lot of it. You would find like one cassava position would make like 20 or 10. So you can imagine how enough cassava can be, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to test. Maybe when.
No problem. I'll bring for you, or we go together.
You roll. Okay. Okay, when that time comes, we'll definitely try to go there. So now, maybe somebody is asking and they would love to start farming. What are the best seasons to farm in South Sudan generally? Now that you have experience and you've been there to see the good seasons and the bad, depending on the type of crop actually, right?
Actually, I can't really predict the best season for farming because rain actually, it starts raining differently. I mean, the weather focus is not always the same in South Sudan. You would find in the east it is raining, and in the west it is actually too hot. Yeah, extremely hot. Like when I went to Yurul West to the farm, it was actually raining, and here in Juba no rain. Okay. So now it has started raining 2 days ago in Juba, and it is now hot in Yurul West. You can see
so
how
it's inconsistent.
Yes, exactly, unpredictable. And I would really suggest you have the crops that grow in your area when rain starts. You have to cultivate and you benefit from it.
Right.
Yes, you benefit from it because you may cultivate something that takes longer, like the cage that the dura that I was mentioning.
Yeah.
They already planted it since May, and it will take longer time till December. Can you really eat? Of course not. You would starve.
Yeah.
So I suggest wherever you are, cultivate crops that take only 3 months to harvest.
What are some of those crops? Maybe you can help somebody out there to identify some of those that take 3 months.
Yeah.
Maybe it's for subsistence food, for home consumption, not on large scale but small scale farming.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, in the West, they have variety of seeds or crops. that and they have their own duration for them to get ready. But in my village, where I come from now, the first thing they actually grow are vegetables.
Okay.
Vegetables help you, like and then the dura or that gets ready faster are those that I had mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I might tell you what is in my village, and at your site,
Yeah.
it won't actually,
Different won't help.
something different, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about fertilizers. What kind of fertilizers do you use in your farm? Or is it organic, inorganic, or the natural ones?
Okay. Actually, I have never seen anybody using fertilizers in their farms when I went to the village.
Okay.
And it is very important. So when I actually approached elders that are so experienced based on their own understanding,
Yeah.
they were like, okay, Nyanda, like our daughter. So what are those things? I actually carried artificial fertilizers with me when I took the seats.
Right.
And I was like, these are fertilizers. And they were like, okay, what are they used for? And I was like, okay. I actually had to explain
to them.
And they were like, man, you are dumb. I was like, how? Yeah, for real. How am I dumb? They said there is plenty of cow dungs, the goat's dungs, whatever dungs, even chicken dungs.
Yeah.
Of course, even humans one, if necessary.
Oh.
So you need to put those things in your garden.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, uncles and grandmothers, where will I collect those dungs from? And they were like, there is wood, which is cattle camp near us. Yeah, just around. Let's go. We'll take our wheelbarrows. We'll help you.
Yeah.
We will bring and we put in your garden. We'll spread it all over the garden.
Right.
And they were like, okay. They said something beautiful, and I was clueless about that. They were like, now your land is new. Like, I mean, your land is fertile. The soil is fertile.
Yeah, the soil,
so you need to leave it, cultivating it for 2, 3, 4 years.
Right.
And it will always yield good seeds, and it will always give you good harvest. So you don't need the dungs now, even your fertilizers.
Okay.
When the soil get exhausted later, we may go for any optional fertilizer to use in your garden. I was like, okay, so now I can cultivate. They were like, yeah, cultivate. Cultivate. So now I have started cultivating without any fertilizer. But for real, in the village, they prefer the natural, the manure.
I mean, which is the best? I think using the natural fertilizers, which is the manure, is always the best.
Yeah.
But also maybe because of season,
it
keeps varying, so you can decide to use
yeah. For them, they don't actually believe in artificial fertilizers.
Okay. All right, let's talk about this thing. You know, Lake State, we understand that is a very volatile environment. And recently, like every day, you know, I'm in the newsroom, and every day at least somebody or people have died in Lake State out of this cattle raiding, fights among the youth. And every day there is sad news about Lake State.
Yeah.
So how do you manage to actually do farming in such an insecure environment?
Actually, you are right about that. Let me first say South Sudan in general is insecure.
Yeah.
It's insecure in a way that you even fear your neighbor. To a point, you even fear your own family.
Yeah.
Okay? Because everyone is traumatized. We are all traumatized out of hunger and a lot of issues that we are facing here. So going to Lake State, and it is too hostile, like majority know, or the worldwide know, you have to be courageous. It takes one to be strong, be decisive, like decide to be there. And but put your thoughts, life in the hands of God to protect you, not human. And yeah, for real, I had encountered a lot of issues, you know, when I was in the village, like cattle raiding, killing. They actually killed my neighbor. Yeah, they killed my neighbor. He had cows and I had bulls actually that flocks for me. So they came at night, removed the animals in their room, from the room, and they forced him to give them 60,000 SSP. If he don't provide that amount, they take his life.
Whoa.
It is like robbery, not even now raiding. So the guy was like, you know what, I'm just a farmer, keeping cattle. I don't have money at home. And then they were like, okay, life depends on you.
Whoa.
If you want it, call someone to come and rescue you. If you don't, we will take it.
And these are people of Lake State.
Exactly. These are my brothers. By the way, I can't lie about it. These are my brothers. And I may not even know, maybe they are women also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy had to call somebody, and his family rescued him.
Yeah.
Whether a friend or a family, but based on the story, that is a cousin. So they came with the 60 SSP and found those people at home. And they gave the money to perpetrators that had actually wanted to kill him. They took the money and left with the bulls. With the cows.
And they left him alive.
Yes, they left him alive. In the morning, all of us were sleeping. We didn't know what was happening at the neighborhood. So we went to him feeling so sorry, and we just realized something terrible had happened happened at night. So it was very, very scary. It actually scared me that moment. And I was like, okay, now I'm here. Yes, I'm too courageous, I'm very strong, I don't want to go anywhere. And I have animals. Having cows in lakes, the most dangerous thing nowadays. You better keep money than animals, by the way. Better keep money than the animals.
Okay.
Don't even bring chicken in your house or a goat.
That's an advice to people.
Exactly. So if you don't have anything to do with animals, don't keep them in your house, or keep them far from people, like take them to the cattle camp. But now, do you have a choice as a farmer? You keep your animals at home with you, because in the morning, every morning, you have to go to the farm and cultivate. So the next day, they raided off also my two bulls that flocks for me, and the situation forced me to hire a tractor, someone's tractor, to actually finish off the remaining small piece of land that was uncultivated because rain had stopped. So for real, insecurity is real in Lake State, and it's not a joke.
Okay.
But I really don't want to scare anybody off. It is home where we were raised and born, and it is home where we can actually make our own food. So I encourage everyone to come home and support our own mothers and our own aunties, grandparents, and actually try to be humble, cultivate, and forget about this, tribalism, cattle raiding, and all those nonsense that are happening now in the village. Yeah. So I despite the terrible situation that I had experienced, I'm still strong.
Okay.
And I will continue to go there.
Okay.
Yeah, I will go there, and I advise you who are outside there to come home. It is our own. We need to change it. The bad habit that our people are doing, it is us who would change it. By changing it, it takes one just like me to settle there and do something that unites us, like now farming, So that's what I can tell my brothers. Yeah, we can bring our own peace by ourselves. If we run away, then we would abandon it, or change won't come. Yeah. But if we stay there, continue to do something different, apart from stealing, and keeps on advising our people based on our thoughts and our futures, they might change, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're here. Hope that change will come.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Right. So let's go back to, you are a young woman, and you're looking forward to having, seeing the future in farming and all that. So how does it look like being a woman and in this kind of business? Do you get enough support from your fellow women or the women organizations that actually support women businesses? If there is one actually that does.
Okay, yeah. For real, people are too kind to me. And I'm actually trying to bring women on board. If Mirabella Foundation later prosper, and become a huge and expanded organization. And I have actually interacted with a few women, especially in the village and here in the city. So they gave me support. I can't be negative about whoever that has given me a little help. And you are here now with me also. So you are supporting me too. So I'm really, really grateful. I've come, along good and kind women who wanted to see me become successful. So, and I have never seen anybody negative. And the only thing that I'm still lacking now is maybe financial support from anybody or any woman. But ideas and practical, help had been done to me.
Okay, so would you love to have investors coming through in case somebody comes across this video? Would you love somebody to come in and maybe invest in Mirabelle Foundation or something?
Oh yes, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward into that, and I want that to happen actually, because by myself I cannot be able to always, pay my workers in wages. Because there are a lot of things that are lacking in my farm, to be honest, and that really need me to have an investor. And like irrigation system, I really don't have it. I don't want to only depend on the weather or maybe rain that actually takes time to come. So I need to be a regular farmer, and for me to be a regular farmer that always produce food, I need to have irrigation system so that I would be cultivating throughout the year. Second to that, what I'm just doing now, the system that I'm using for cultivation now is a manual one. Like I bought ox flows and then I bought bulls. And those bulls now are endangering my life. I might get killed, but they stole them also. They have gone. So those ox flows are at home now, vulnerable without bulls that would use them next year. So now I'm planning to have a tractor also. And that really needs me to have an investor who would step in and take my hand, like I'm now like a little baby that is trying to crawl and start standing and then now take a step to walk. So I'm actually trying to crawl now. So and I'm looking forward, if somebody really come across this video, this is Mirabelle Foundation. I really have beautiful plans for it. It's I don't want it to be only about me. It's about women around me and people around me and the future ahead of us. So I have beautiful plans that are already set for it. And as per now, that is what I would say.
You talk about you going through, like maybe you have a few challenges. What are some? You've already mentioned some of the challenges, like the irrigation system and all that. What are some of the challenges you encounter on day-to-day basis as a farmer in that area?
Okay, when I was in the village, actually, in the garden, I went with the little funds that I had, put them on the table, since I could not pay people salaries. So they had to cultivate in wages. So I would tell you, we want to, I hired a machine, and clearing it also, I had to hire people. So you would come and I tell you from here to there, or from west to east, I want it to be cleared. Remove the trees, burn them, and that is locally anyway. And somebody will be like, okay, how much? And we negotiate, right? Yeah, we negotiate and I pay. So, and I realized that paying someone on wages is too expensive than salary. That's to be honest.
That's cool.
So, like if it's a salary, salary is decided in the office. The amount that I would give you, little monthly, or enough monthly. And then now I present it to you, it's your choice to take it or leave it. But wages, even if it's the entire South Sudan that someone demand to be given for him to clear or her, you have to give it. Because by yourself, you cannot do it. So it's a challenge. Number two, the seat. The seat, I had no clue about
what seeds to plant.
Yes, what seeds to plant. So I went with the different ones, And then they told me, take this off, we want this. So I had to go and buy different seats, actually. That is the second to that. Paying people in wages also, I realized, I had wanted someone to finish, his work quickly. But paying someone in wages depends on his own time to come.
Ah, okay, there is no time. Okay.
You don't time someone. Okay. Like, come at 8 to finish off your work, he would come at 9 or decide not to come at all. And maybe there is nobody at all for you to replace that person with, So you had to wait. You have to wait. Wait for that person. So they work when they decided to do something. And you don't put them under pressure like employees. Employees. So if you are some kind of a person who really want your thing to be done quickly so that it's finished on time, you need to have patience. Always help, Okay. So my plan, if my Mirabella Foundation farm produce 50 bags of peanuts and maybe 30 bags of dura or millet, I would love to give a certain percentage later.
All right.
So
the current, that's good. That's good plan. And the land that you currently have, is it on lease or yours permanently?
Wow, you don't lease.
Because we have a land issue in South Sudan, and so maybe sometimes, for you to actually have such a large-scale farming in 100 acre of land, it could be at some point maybe be an issue or an obstacle to your growth. So is it on lease or family land, or is it?
Actually, it's a family land, and to be honest with you, no woman owns a land entitlement. So it is a family land, and before I took over and start cultivating in it, I actually talked to the family and told them my plans. And I told them clearly that I wanted to cultivate and farm it. And I want to set up some tukuls in it. And they were like, okay, since it had been abandoned for years, because it is just some kilometers away from the main town of Yirul. That place is called Pakeo. So they were like, since it was abandoned and we are here now, and if you are courageous enough to go and clear those big trees, cut them down and do what you like, continue to cultivate. But it is not my own. It is not my own.
All right.
So I'm just there, temporarily, till they decide later to give it to me if I would do something good out of it, or they chase me out of it. I'm just a girl. That is the belief. So it's not mine.
From your family.
Men own the entitlement.
But I think that needs to change.
Okay, that is another topic. We cannot talk about it now.
Right. Anyway, we'll leave that for another day. So maybe your message to the young people. Okay, let's say before I even go to the young people, what role do you think the youth or the young people have in fighting food insecurity in South Sudan? And especially, it's like each year there is an increase in the levels of food insecurity in South Sudan.
For real, I cannot talk about anything youth are doing outside there. Apart from politics, apart from politics, apart from negative gossips, apart from, exposing women on Facebook domains, online. That's the most beautiful things. Why am I living cultural, practice like dancing? No, I'm like, apart from beautiful things outside there. I personally only am friendly with a few gentlemen that are always busy to bring food on their table. There are those who actually believe poverty is real. Poverty is real. You have to think, scratch your head, and think of something that you would depend your life on. Something you can do to make sure your family feeds. There are only few, and those few out of 100% or 10% of youth in South Sudan, they are the ones that are doing that. And we know ourselves,
Right.
you know, on
Yeah.
this street.
Yeah.
We know ourselves. Majority are reluctant in their uncles' homes, their aunties' homes, their grandmothers' homes.
Yeah, even fathers'
Yes,
homes.
and I have heard many people, you know, telling others before, like, if I come across you and I tell you, yeah, why don't you work? You'll be like, what do you want me to do? I don't have a job. Come on. Me now, I don't even want to work for somebody.
Yeah.
I was in the village. I was in the village farming. Farming does not need you to borrow money,
Yeah.
from someone, and then you would be under pressure to pay that person back. You can just go to your neighbor and say that, okay, give me a piece of land, please. I want to farm. Since you are clearing off the grass that has no benefit, you'll be like, someone would just give you the seeds and you cultivate. Farming is not expensive. Farming does not need your energy. Maybe work that would make you sweat. Yeah, that you need. You don't need money.
Yeah.
Like in the village, maybe us who are actually farming in a big quantity, those ones who really have plans for future, that need money.
Yeah.
But someone who only need food, that food you can even produce it, sell it, and later send your kids back to school, like our mothers were doing back in the days.
Yeah.
You understand? So please, the youth outside there, please stop encouraging laziness. You know, stop being lazy, stop giving excuses. I'm actually courageous.
I think this is what McQueen actually said some other time, like people are lazy, so you support what he said.
Okay, he's right. He's right. He's right. Actually, he's right, and he knows what make him say that. And for me, I have interacted with the people whom have approached before and told them, tell them that why don't you do this and that, and someone will tell me, I have nothing to do.
So it's a culture of laziness that is making us actually more poor as South Sudanese,
exactly.
aside from the other issues.
Exactly. So now, you know, at Mirabella Foundation Farm, when I sit under the tree with the gentlemen surrounded around me, we just sit and talk for a few minutes, and then we go back and cultivate. I also give hand. I pay them in wages, but I also take my part. You know, we all sweat. And then later come back and rest a little bit, we go back. So I don't even give a moment of, you know, rest. I don't want to rest. In my life, I don't believe in resting.
Right.
So I believe in doing something. Because I cannot beg money for medication, money for food, money for clothing, money for school.
Yeah.
You don't beg that from someone all the time.
Yeah. Last message.
What I would like to tell South Sudanese in general, and the youth especially, I wanted you to actually focus on agriculture, because agriculture is the only thing that we all need to depend on now. You know, all of us are traumatized for real, because we actually base our thoughts and our dreams on politics. Yeah, politics that has no benefit. You are supporting Mr. X and he's supporting Mr. Y. And then Mr. Y, after the end of the day, if your neck get on a rope, he won't even come for you and help you. If you become hungry or thirsty, sick, you cannot go to that Mr. X after the end of the day to provide, you know, help or assistance. So, yeah, I don't really I don't really want you to stop supporting your parties, but do something for yourself as you continue to live in those houses. But if I were you, take your hoes already and go to the villages and cultivate. This is what I'm doing. So agriculture is the key now. If you farm, you can make your own money, produce your own food, travel anywhere. Because if you have good harvest after the end of the day, you can make dollars. You would have pounds. So that's the message to you people.